Did you ever think that what you see as your greatest liability could one day become your greatest gift? Keep listening as I share my gratitude and personal liability with you, and how it has led me to celebrating 20 years of podcasting. Hello, I'm Sahar Palmer, host of Unbox the Podcast since 2005. When I was a little girl, I was so quiet. My mum would leave me sitting on the sofa, and hours later, she'd find me in the exact same spot, sitting silently, watching. If there was a family gathering, I wouldn't say a word. I just observed. And in those moments of stillness, I learned more about people than words could ever teach me. To be honest with you, I was so shy when I was young, but it made me enjoy observing. It taught me how to observe. I learned to see patterns, to see the subtle shifts in people's behavior, and of course, the way they spoke about what was taboo. And when adults would say, "Children, go to your room," I knew it was a conversation worth listening to. Looking back, that quiet awareness became the foundation of who I became and everything that I do today. That quietness developed my patience and became my greatest strength. It taught me how to listen deeply, to notice what others missed, and the poses, the patterns, the emotions behind the words, too. It's the same quality that shaped my work as a holistic therapist, mentor, and later a podcaster. When you speak so little, you kind of like learn to choose what you need to say more deeply. I learned to get to the point quickly and to redirect the conversation when it wasn't going somewhere constructive. As my friends would tell you about me, I have no problem interrupting the flow. Today, I invite you to celebrate 20 years of podcasting with me, 2 decades of exploring what it meant to reconnect with your true self. I only recently realized that it has been 20 years indeed. When I started back in 2005, the word podcast was hardly known. I had to explain to my clients and my newsletter subscribers what was the podcast and what you would do with it. My purpose then, as it is now, was simple: to demystify the enigmatic without fluff, just grounded conversations, and to help you come home to who you truly are. So here's my story. Growing up in Kuwait, one of the people who shaped me most was my uncle Talat. He lived in Japan and was an avid reader. During one visit, he almost missed his flight because he refused to leave before finishing a book he was reading. When he finally put it down, I picked it up. I thought to myself, this must be good. And that book was probably my first adult read. It was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That was a soft spot for me being shy, and that book changed how I see communication. I realized most people worry about what to say. But the best way to connect is simply to be curious and to ask others about themselves, their life journey, and what it is that they're passionate about. So that resonated with me and it felt natural. Diverting the focus on the other rather than your own hangups worked. And that's how my conversation started, to be honest. Gradually, the shyness subsided. People are always ready to talk about themselves and what matters to them. Years later, when I began podcasting, that became the foundation of my interviews. I was genuinely curious about the stories that shaped other people's lives, And that curiosity became the heartbeat of all my work, my interviews, and of Unbox the podcast today. Because it is about conversations that stay with you. The thing about my journey is that both sides of my Palestinian family carried deep stories of loss, resilience, and constantly starting over. What psychology calls generational trauma. I mean, oh my God, I lived through it quietly. It's through my DNA. These experiences shaped how I see the world and inspired this podcast because I knew the meaning of when you're lost, who can you trust, and what advice do you truly need. Over the past 20 years, Unbox the podcast has grown from just a few hundred curious listeners into a global community. What began as one woman's reflection has become a shared journey, a conversation that now reaches people in more than 54 countries around the world. Together, you have created over 45,000 IAB certified downloads and more than, let this land, 200,000 unique listeners. They tune in from the US, the UK, Canada, the UAE, the Netherlands, New Zealand, and beyond. Every week, I saw how quickly you respond. Within minutes of a new episode being released, the downloads began. That tells me you're listening with intent and that these conversations matter to you. And that allowed me to come back, to continue, to keep going. To my 3,000 listeners in India, my loyal audience in Iowa, and the growing community in the UAE, I say thank you. I hear you and I appreciate you. So here's why voice matters. Podcasting, for me personally, is voice to the ear, heart to the heart, soul to soul. Sound vibrations can be deeply healing. Unlike visuals, sound lingers. It stays with us and it speaks directly to something within. Over the years, I've had profound conversations about the power of voice with my dear friend and master of voice, Stewart Pearce. Stewart had advised many prominent. That episode remains one of the most listened to on Unbox the podcast. I will link it to the show notes. It's part of the Power of Voice playlist on Spotify. Please check them out. You can't fake your true note. Your authentic voice print, just like a fingerprint, vibrates who you truly are. That realization helped me align with my own tone, my own note, and express my purpose more fully. It has also helped me to understand where and why my clients struggle. As I listen to them, I can hear it in their voice, and I can hear where their voice disconnects from their truth. It's all connected, you see. It's all part of who we are. That's the essence of voice. It's not just what is said, it's the way our core being resonates with it, helping us harmonize and heal without even realizing it. And because so many of you enjoyed the guided meditations in my ebooks, I've created more to share with you on Buy Me a Coffee platform. I continue to build this Buy Me a Coffee as a digital resource to serve you, filled with meditations and tools to help you realign, tune into your own life path, and continue to grow. My own self expression, podcast, and work have evolved just as I have. I began this podcast exploring intuition, dreams, Sufism, past lives, health, why do we get ill, how do we get well, alternative universes, energy healing, making basically the enigmatic practical. Today, everything I share is guided by my experience as a life mentor over the past 33 years, and it's guided by my unique process, the 4 dimensions of change. If you're new here, that's BIMA methodology: body, emotions, mind, and accountability to action. It is because I deeply believe you can't just fix one thing in one area in your life. That is not lasting change. For self transformation to be lasting, you need to bring all of you together so that you don't disconnect with any part at any point in your life. So each episode is designed to help you reconnect with your true self, shift old stories, and step into the life you want with clarity and confidence. As my purpose grew, I realized it's not just about offering insights, it's about leaving something behind that empowers you to find your own guidance, to live consciously, and encourage your real identity to come through. If this resonates with you, I want you to know that I offer mentoring to help you realign with your purpose and reclaim it with clarity. You can check more on my website, saharhunaidi.com. And if you would like to support this work, you can do so on YouTube with super thanks or on Buy Me a Coffee, where you will find exclusive meditations and ebooks that I hope to grow even more. Communities build connections, true connections. Over time, my focus has naturally become those who truly seek and desire real change. That's why I've begun building small, intentional communities where people can feel safe to express themselves and share their journey. Spaces like the Unbox Collective, our private WhatsApp group, has become a powerhouse. And to you guys, I'm grateful. I also limit the number of participants in my in person workshops so I can personally track everyone's progress. And I mentor only a few clients at a time, about 3 or 4 each month. This allows me to stay closely involved in directing their growth, and between sessions, this allows me to stay connected with my friends, to pick up my hobbies, to see my family, and I'm really excited about my grandnephews. And that keeps life holistic, growing in all aspects. And I hope that you would do the same. And then there is this podcast, a dedicated space for those who are ready to go deeper and create lasting self transformation. That's why I value your commitment so deeply. You are part of this evolving conversation on conscious living, authentic leadership, and meaningful growth. You, in fact, have shaped this journey with me. Your feedback, your questions, your comments, your stories have guided me as much as my intuition has. Together, we created playlists and series around women's wisdom, the art of dreaming, intuition, how to tune in to your inner guidance, your inner compass, and about growth and transformation. If you're using Spotify, you can check the playlists. And every season, the episodes have reflected where we are collectively. In 2025, our focus was on the power of your story to bridge the unconscious with the conscious, because the stories we tell ourselves shape the lives we live, whether we're aware of it or not. So today, I look back on 20 years and I want to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in, for sharing, for trusting me to guide you. Thank you for making Unbox the Podcast part of your journey. None of this would exist without you. And this is not the end. We're just getting started. The future holds more. I'll continue bringing you new audio courses, meditations, and tools. I'll continue bringing you weekly episodes every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Dubai time. And yes, there is more to come on YouTube, Spotify, and beyond. As we close this special episode, 20 years on, the mission hasn't changed. It continues with purpose. Unbox the Podcast is about transforming what you once thought was a weakness into wisdom, and to recognize that you can do so, and that your voice, even if it starts as a whisper, can change lives, beginning with your own. So if you haven't already, please follow Unbox the Podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you listen. Every follow and every review really helps these conversations reach more people who need to hear them most. Thank you for listening and for tuning in today and for sharing and walking this journey with me. Here's to staying grounded and being real. Until next Tuesday, keep unboxing. This is Sahar Palmer wishing you a great week ahead.